The Aramaic and Palestinian Targum, Dueteronomy chapter 28. And it shall be, if you will diligently hearken to the word of the Lord your God, to observe and perform all the commandments which I command you this day, that the Lord your God will set you on high, and exalt you above all the nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you, and abide with you, for that you will have hearkened to the Lord your God. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed in the field. Blessed shall be the offspring of your womb, the fruits of your ground, the oxen of your herd, and the flocks of your sheep. Blessed shall be the basket of your first fruits, and the first cakes of your flour. Blessed shall you be in the coming into your houses of instruction, and blessed shall you be when you go out to your affairs. Jerusalem text says, Blessed shall you be in the baskets of your first fruits, and in your wheaten cakes. Blessed shall you be when you go into your houses of instruction, and blessed when you go out of them. The word of the Lord will cause your enemies who rise up against you to hurt you, to be broken before you. The word of the Lord will cause your enemies who rise up against you to hurt you, to be broken before you. By one way they will come out to fight against you, but 7 ways they shall be dispersed, I fleeing before you. The Lord will command the blessing upon you in your treasuries, and on all that you put your hands unto, and will bless you in the land which the Lord your God giveth you. The word of the Lord will establish you to be a holy people before him, as he hath said unto you, when you keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and walk in the ways that are right before him. And all the nations of the earth will see that the name is written by his own appointment on the Taliphim that are upon thee, and will be afraid of thee. And the word of the Lord will make thee to abound in good, in the offspring of thy womb, and the increase of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Lord hath promised to thy fathers. 4 keys are in the hand of the Lord of all the world, which he hath not delivered into the hands of any secondary power. The key of life, and of the tombs, and of food, and of rain. And thus did Moshe the prophet speak, The Lord will open to you his good treasure, which is with him in the heavens, and will give you the rain of your land in its season, the early in Marchavan, and the latter in Nisan, and will bless you in all the works of your hands. And you will lend to many peoples, but shall have no need to borrow. And the word of the Lord will appoint you to be kings and not subjects, and to be ennobled and not abased, when you have hearkened to the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day to keep and perform. Decline not from any of these words that I teach you today, either to the left or to the right, in walking after the idols of the Gentiles to serve them. When Moshe the prophet began to pronounce the words of threatening, the earth trembled, the heavens were moved, the sun and moon were darkened, the stars withdrew their beams. The fathers of the world cried from their sepulchres, while all creatures were silent, the very trees waved not their branches. The fathers of the world answered and said, Woe to our children, should they sin, and bring these maledictions upon them. For how will they bear them, lest destruction be executed on them, and no merit of our of ours protect, and there be no man to stand and intercede on their behalf. Then fell the Beth-kol from the high heavens, and said, Fear not, ye fathers of the world. If the merit of all generations shall fail, yours shall not. And the covenant which I have confirmed with you shall not be annulled, but will still overshadow them. Moshe the prophet answered and said, Whomsoever I threaten continually, saying, If you hearken not to the word of the Lord your God, in neither observing nor doing all my commandments and statutes which I command you this day, then shall all these maledictions come upon you and cleave upon you. Accursed shall you be in the city and in the field. Accursed shall be the basket of your first fruits, and the first cakes of your wheat. Accursed the children of your wombs, the fruit of your ground, the oxen of your herd, and the sheep of your flocks. Accursed shall you be in your going into the houses of your theatres, and the places of your public shows, to make void the words of the law. And accursed shall you be in your coming out to your worldly affairs. The word of the Lord will send forth curses among you to curse your wealth, and confusion to confound your prosperity, and vexation with all that you put your hands to, until he hath undone you, and you perish soon on account of the wickedness of your doings, when you have forsaken my worship. The word of the Lord will make the pestilence to cleave to you, to consume you from off the land which you are going to inherit. The word of the Lord will smite you with abscesses and inflammation, and fire in the bones that will burn up the marrow, and with fearful imaginations in the thoughts of the heart, and with the naked sword, and with blasting, and the jaundice of Macedania, which shall follow you to your beds until you are destroyed. And the heavens above you shall be as brass which sweateth, but that will not yield you any dew or rain. And the ground under you be as iron, which sweateth not, nor maketh green the trees, nor yieldeth spices, fruits, or herbs. After the rain which cometh down on the earth, the Lord will send a wind that shall drive dust and ashes upon the herbage of your fields, and calamity shall fall upon you from the heavens until you are consumed. The word of the Lord will cause you to be broken before your enemies. By one way you will go out to battle, but by 7 ways shall you flee confounded before them, to become an execration in all the kingdoms of the earth. And your carcasses will be cast out to be meat for all the fowls of the sky, and for the beasts of the earth, and no one will scare them away from your corpse. Jerusalem text, and no one shall drive them away. And the word of the Lord will smite you with the ulcers with which the Nazarene was smitten, and with hemorrhoids that blind the sight, and with blotches, and with erysipelas, from which you will not be able to be healed. Jerusalem text says, the word of the Lord will smite you with the ulcer of Mizraim, and with hemorrhoids, and with the blotch, and with scurvy, which cannot be healed. The word of the Lord will smite you with fearfulness, and bewildereth the brain, and with blindness, and stupor of heart. And you will seek good counsel for enlargement from your adversities, but there will be none among you to show the truth, so that you will grope in darkness like the blind who have none passing by the road to see how to direct them in the way. Nor shall you prosper in your ways, but be oppressed and afflicted all the days, without any to deliver. Thou wilt betroth a wife, but another man will have her. Thou wilt build a house, but not dwell in it. Thou wilt plant a vineyard, but not make it common. Your oxen will be killed, you looking on, but without eating of them. Your asses will be taken away from before you, but they will not be returned. Your sheep will be delivered over to your enemies, and there will for you be no deliverance. Your sons and daughters will be given up to another people, and your eyes see it, and grow dim because of them from day to day, and in your hand will be no good work by which you may prevail in prayer before the Lord your Father who is in heaven, that he may save you. Jerusalem, your sons and daughters shall be delivered to another people, while your eyes behold and fail on account of them all the day. Nor will you have the good works to give satisfaction unto God, that he might redeem you. The fruitage of your ground and of all your labour will a people whom thou hast not known devour, and thou shalt be oppressed and trodden down all the days, and you will be maddened by the revengeance, and shaken by the sight of your eyes that you will see. The word of the Lord will smite you with a sore ulcer in the knees, because you bent them in the matter of the transgression, and in the legs by which you ran into it. For if you be not converted to the law, you cannot be saved, but will be beaten by it from the sole of your foot unto the crown on your head. The Lord will make you and your king, whom you may set over you, to go away among a people that neither you nor your fathers have known. And you will carry tribute to peoples who worship idols of stone and wood. And if the thought of your heart be to worship their idols, you shall be for astonishment, for proverbs and tales among the sons of the Gentiles, where the Lord will have you scattered. You will carry much seed into the field, but gather in little, for the locust shall eat it. You will plant vineyards and till them, but will not drink the vine, nor press out the vintage, because the worm will have consumed it. You will have olive trees in all your boundaries, but will not be anointed with oil, for your olive trees will fail. Jerusalem text says, but your oil you will not be anointed, for the bloom of your olive trees shall be destroyed. You will beget sons and daughters, but they will yield you no advantage, for they shall go into captivity. All the trees and fruits of your lands the locust will destroy. Jerusalem text says, robbers shall take possession of the trees and the fruits of your land. The uncircumcised who dwelleth among you will rise above you with assertion upon ascension. But you will go downwards by descent after descent. He will lend to you, but you will not lend to him. He will be the master, and you the servant. And all of these curses will come upon you, and will follow and cleave to you, until you have perished, because you would not hearken to the word of the Lord your God, to observe his commandments and statutes which he commanded you. And they will be upon you for signs and portions, and upon your children forever, for that you would not serve before the Lord your God cheerfully, with rightness of heart for the abundance of all good. But you will serve your enemies, whom the word of the Lord will send amongst you, in hunger, thirst, nakedness, and the want of every good. And they will put an iron yoke upon your necks until it hath worn you away. The word of the Lord will cause a people to fly upon you from afar, from the ends of the earth, swift as an eagle flieth, a people whose language thou wilt not understand, a people hard in visage, who will not respect the old, nor have pity on the young. Jerusalem text says, a people hard in visage who will not respect the aged nor have mercy on the children. And they will consume the increase of your cattle and the fruit of your ground till you have wasted away. For they will leave you neither corn, oil, wine, herbs, nor flocks until the time that they have destroyed you. And they will shut you up in your cities until they have demolished your high walls whereby you trusted to be saved in all your land. And they shall besiege you in all your cities, in the whole land which the Lord your God gave you, and the children of your womb shall be consumed, for you will eat them in the famine, even the flesh of your sons and daughters, whom the Lord your God did give you, by reason of the anguish and oppression wherewith your enemies shall oppress you. The man who is gentle and refined among you will look with evil eyes upon his brother, and the wife who reposeth on his bosom, and upon the rest of his children who remain. He will not give to one of them of the flesh of his children which he eateth, because nothing remaineth to him in the anguish and straitness with which I will straiten you in all your cities. She who is delicate and luxurious among you, who hath not ventured to put the sole of her foot upon the ground from tenderness and delicacy, will look with evil eyes upon the husband of her bosom, upon her son and her daughter, and the offspring she hath borne, for she will eat them in secret, through the want of all things, by reason of the anguish and oppression with which your enemies shall oppress you in your cities. If you observe not to perform all the commandments of this law written in the book, to reverence this glorious and fearful name, the Lord your God, the word of the Lord will hide the Holy Spirit from you. When the plagues come upon you and your children, great and continuous plagues, which will not leave you, and grievous and continual evils that will grow old upon your bodies, and will turn upon you all the woes which were sent upon the Mizraim, before which thou wast afraid, and they shall cleave to you. The evils also that are not written in the book of this law will the word of the Lord stir up against you until you are consumed. And you who were as the stars of heaven for multitude will be left a few people. Because you hearkened not to the word of the Lord your God, and as the word of the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good, and to multiply you, so will he rejoice in sending against you strange nations to destroy and to make you desolate. And you shall be uprooted from the land with which you are going to possess, and the Lord will disperse you among all nations, from one end of the earth to the other, and you shall be tributaries to the worshippers of idols of wood and stone, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And if your mind be divided to worship their idols, he will send that between you all those nations, that you shall have no repose or rest for the sole of your foot, and will give you there a fearful heart which darkens in eyes and wears out the soul. And your life will be in suspense. You will be in dread day and night, and have no assurance of your life. In the morning you will say, oh, that it were evening, for afflictions will make the hours of the day longer before you. And at evening you will say, oh, that it were morning, for afflictions will make the hours of the night longer before you, because of the terror of your heart. For you will be in stupor of the vision of your eyes, which you will see for punishment and be terrified. And the word of the Lord will bring you captive into Mizraim in ships through the sea of Sif, by the way you passed over, of which I said to you, no more shall you see it. Jerusalem text. And the word of the Lord will cause you to return to Mizraim in galleys, by the way of which I said to you, ye shall see it no more. And there will you be sold to your enemies at the beginning for a dear price, as artificeries, and afterwards at a cheap price, as servants and handmaids, until you be worthless, and be consigned to uppriced labour, and there be none who will take you. Wow, there's a lot in this reading. I can see a lot of this happening for today. I know that, of course, they went into Babylon captivity, and this is why this was written, this Targum, was because of their Babylonian captivity. But as I read it, I can see a lot that's happening today, that we will have nations that will come in that we know not, people we know not, that don't care for our history or the days of old, our Christianity, or the way that we live and the way that we respect the elderly and the young. They will come in and they will overtake us and breed us out. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Because why? Why is this happening to Australia, America, Canada, New Zealand? Why is this happening? I wonder if it's because we have not obeyed his commandments and his statutes and his ways. And we have no respect for the name of God and the word of the Lord, which is Yahweh and Yahusha. We have so much to repent of over our nations, because we are going to be sold back to captivity. And it's happened before and it's going to happen again. There is nothing new under the sun. And in fact, we're in captivity now. Very much so. So I pray that our nations will repent and turn back to Yahweh and to his ways and to his truths and walk in him. Holy be his name.